Hey everyone, welcome back to Minotaur. Today I'm going to try something new. I've been doing a lot of these comic book shorts and everything and really focusing on a lot of the DC stuff that's been coming out. And, my main focus all the time has been Absolute Batman. So I'm going to go over, I just got a big haul of comics this weekend and I thought I'd just start off this first series with all the Batman covers. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen Batman #1 by now, the Absolute Batman by Scott Snyder. It's selling amazing. They're already on their 4th printing, and like this copy, I paid $5 for it originally, and it's already selling for $50, $50 on eBay. Price charting, I think they're saying it right now is at $42 for raw. So obviously, if you got it graded, it would be even higher. So this is the first printing here. It's pretty awesome. Scott Snyder's always been one of my favorite writers. I am a big fan, I'm sure like almost everybody that's watching any of these videos, of the Court of Owls run when he did that. And at the time I was reading comics, but I wasn't really into collecting. I've had old comics. I don't know if you can see some of these old ones in the back. These are all ones that I had when I was a kid. And from the 80s, I started getting them, and I started going to a comic store in the US called Talking Illustrations and collecting. But back in 2011, when Scott Snyder took over the Batman main run, I really fell in love with just his storytelling style and the way he writes and everything. Since I've read American Vampire and Wake, and I just felt like this new run, when I heard he was taking over, I thought it was a perfect time. So so that's the first printing, issue 1, and then we have the noir, the same picture as the first issue. So this is the original cover, right? Obviously, this was still done by Nick Dragotta, and then I just picked up this one today, which is the 4th printing of it. It's a foil. I'm going to take some other video. It'll likely be up on screen now so you can see it. But yeah, this is the 4th printing, alternate foil cover. Done by Nick Dragotta as well. And then here we go. We got another variant cover of issue 1. Snyder's been really doing some really cool stuff with this. It's a complete reinvention of who Batman is, and it's, I think, the first time that there's ever been a kind of a revamp of the origin story of him, and how, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I'll tell you now, spoilers. So anybody who hasn't read this and doesn't want to have anything ruined, just skip ahead a few seconds. But in this version, the only one who died when Bruce was a boy was his dad. So Martha's still alive in this, which is just mind-blowing. And the first 3 issues, or I think it's actually first 5 issues of this run, is called The Zoo. So that kind of hints a little bit. It wasn't a Zorro movie and they went out in the alley like you normally see. It was a mass shooting, and I mean, I think that's what's been so awesome. I'm a little tidbit here too. The next version of this will be the Absolute Superman run, and both of these really famous, runs and main character runs, they're both focusing on really modern stories, which is a really cool way of going about it. And I'm super into it, man. Like I said, they're already on their 4th printing of the first issue, so you can tell it's popular. And my guys at the comic book store, they were saying that everybody's just really into these. So this is issue 2. So again, we all know Alfred as the butler, but in these ones, you can kind of see them there. They're fighting, like they're adversaries, and Alfred, they call him Pennyworth more than anything in this one, because he's like a secret agent, like kind of a mercenary. It's like they're kind of hinting at it in the newest one that they have these black ops, black site prisons all over the world, because so here's a variant. This is likely my favorite scene. I can't wait until they eventually put this into a movie, because they just have to use this. Where Bruce, they don't, again, in this run, a lot of things are different. He doesn't have the traditional Batcave. He's not rich. He doesn't have his big mansion where he hides. So he's an engineer, and he hides his Batcaves. They're kind of mobile in buildings. So he's an engineer, and he'll get access to these buildings, and on the top floors he'll kind of make this makeshift place with all his computers and gear and ways that he could figure things out, right? And that's where he hides. And the party animals, who you come to find out, the Black Mask, who's a pretty famous villain in the Batman universe. The party animals, they find him in this building, and when he blows it up, they think they got him, but he already had it planned. He was one step ahead of them already, man. It's such an awesome story. It's been so well done. I'm just so amazed by how Snyder's made this go. Anybody who's seen the way issue 2 ended, man, issue 3, it is like the most intense car chase for half of this. Like, the first half of the story, it starts off a little slow, and then it just races, like literally races to the finish, right? And like the crazy thing is that they have this. I don't want to ruin it, but I kind of want to ruin it. It's this amazing scene where the Batmobile isn't quite the typical Batmobile, but then we've seen it before, like in Batman Begins. I think it was Batman Begins, for sure it was in Dark Knight Rises, where, the Batmobile's kind of in trouble, and then all of a sudden the Batcycle pops out of the middle of it, right? And so we've seen this before, where the Batmobile can kind of go into separate pieces and become more than you thought it was. In this issue, man, I'm telling you, like, I'm keeping my eyes open, because I'm really hoping that they're going to have a variant cover with the Batmobile that they're doing. So there's this really cool comic book store. I live in British Columbia. There's a cool comic book store called Hourglass Comics, and I want to show you some of these other ones I got, but I'm gonna save those for the next video. But like, these are 2 pretty rare of the new printings, and my local store didn't have them. I've gotten the other printings from my local store. I get all my first ones from them, but this other place, man, they got all these crazy variant covers. So I'm really hoping that they have one with the new Batmobile. So another new run that they've been doing is Batman and Robin Year 1. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Robin necessarily as a child. I'm not gonna lie. I like some of it. I've always been more into like where Nightwing is. Dick Grayson kind of more grown up. That's where I kind of got into the story when I was a kid. I always associate Robin. It's funny, actually, we were talking, Trevor and I, the local guy at the comic book store up by my house, and I think a lot of people, when you see the Robin, it's maybe why I really got attracted to this black and white comic. First of all, the art style they're doing, it's really retro, which I really love. It's pretty cool what they're doing with this style. But I think a lot of people think of the 1960s like Adam West Batman and Robin, where it's kind of campy and silly and everything else. And I've always been more attracted to the darker, more, again, in my 3rd video in this series, because man, over Boxing Day I got a pretty good deal on a bunch of comics. They were doing back issues for $1. And there's some issues that I'm trying to collect, like one of my favorite Snyder runs was his very first one with Black Mirror, and that's really like my style of Batman. It's like this almost like Seven kind of like dirty noirish style, right? That I just love. I think it's like such a great superhero for so many reasons. Like my dad passed away when I was relatively young. So I can associate with, just that feeling of loss that Batman went through, and how you struggle with all these feelings of rage and anger and wanting to get back and make things right for other people. And I was always looked up to this feeling that Batman was always the one that tried to make sure that no one else went through what he went through, and that the pain ended with him. I love that. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I am attracted to what they are doing with Batman and Robin. Like I read the Batman Robin Year 1, the first 2. I'll show you here. This is I missed the issue 2, but I got issue 3 here with a variant cover, which is a pretty cool cover. I just love the detail of this one. But yeah, so I mean, like they're really embracing the story of Dick losing his parents, and Batman kind of stepping in for that role as a surrogate father, and you know how in a lot of ways Bruce is healing his own wounds at the same time that he's healing Dick's. So I mean, for me, Batman's just like the best. So yeah, anyway, that's all the comics of this one. I literally, man, I got like 25 comics, dude. Don't tell my wife, she'll kick my ass. But I got so many comics over the last couple days. And I have a little surprise coming later this month, likely. I'm just waiting for it in the mail, and then we'll do a video on that. I hinted at it a little bit if anybody caught it. In this, I'm going to be, you know, my goals for the new year is that I want to kind of focus my collection a little bit. Obviously, I'm a huge Batman fan, and I'm a huge Scott Snyder fan. So I think eventually my end goal would be to get the whole Court of Owls run. But I want to kind of do bite-sized pieces to start off the new year, just to not make it so crazy, you know, like I think that's one of the biggest things with collecting is that we have to kind of focus a little bit or else it can get just so overwhelming. And I wish I could say that comics were my only thing, but I'm a big figure fan too. So you can see all these Demon Slayers behind me here. And so I like collecting figures as well. I have a few retro pieces coming, actually. I just ordered on Boxing Day as well. And I'll do a video on that as well. So tell me what you guys think. Did you guys like this? Is this something you want me to continue? I'll for sure do them over this next month for these comics that I've gotten. And then we're going to do the next release, right? So Absolute Batman #4 is coming out next month. And then 5, I think there's going to be about 25 on this run. So we'll be for sure doing this for the next couple of years, at least once a month. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. Have you guys read any of the Absolute Batmans? What's your favorite? Are you liking what Snyder's doing with the story? Do you like this reinvention of it? What you think in the comments? Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please like and subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, follow me here to get weekly updates on all the latest comics. I'll still be doing all my shorts that I've been doing. I just did Justice League 1. I have Justice League 2 coming out likely tomorrow or the next day. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks so much. Minotaur out.